The key is, what do you want to be in life? I know adults ask students that all the time. So what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think it's an unfair question, because you don't know what the choices are. If an adult asks you that question, I would say, hey, let's go to a restaurant and have them not give us the menu. And then the waiter comes up and says, so what do you want? You go, I don't know, what's on the menu? That's not a fair question. And so for a student, I think it's really hard to choose because you don't know what the choices are. So here's what I recommend. Next time you go into a bookstore or a library, notice what part of the bookstore that you always go to. I would bet when you go to the bookstore, you don't go to every single section equally. There are parts of a bookstore that are naturally more interesting to you. You know, you might always go to these 3 sections of the library because that's the stuff that is really cool or interesting to you. And notice that about yourself, because that's kind of who you are. These are the things that interest me. You know, I'm interested in, you know, choose whatever 3 things you want. Brain surgery and horses and tacos. Those are the 3 things I'm really interested in. But then once you've got those things that you are interested in, then picture yourself being an adult doing one of those 3 things. I'm really interested in horses. Okay, well maybe I could be a veterinarian. Maybe I should be a farrier. Maybe I should be a jockey. Maybe I could be a racehorse owner. Maybe I should build racetracks. You know, there's a huge world of things that are in the area that you are naturally interested in. So the answer to your question is find out, do it for yourself. What is in your heart of the things that are really important to you? And then visualize yourself as having succeeded in that area. And put that on the wall way in the distance as, if everything goes great, then someday I'm going to be, I don't know, the person that implants the first artificial brain. Whatever. That's what I'm going to do when I'm 50. I'm going to be the first, you know, like a heart transplant or whatever. I'm going to do an artificial brain transplant. And you probably won't, but set that way in the distance as your goal, because the beauty of that is it helps you what to choose to do next, which is really the hard part. What should I do this weekend? What should I do tonight? And if you don't know where you're trying to get to, it's really hard to decide what to do next, because what do you use as your guideline? But if you know that someday I want to be the person that owns the horse that wins the Triple Crown in the United States, okay, well then maybe I should study horses, or I should study racing, or I should study how did Secretariat do so well, or how come Manowar was such a dominant horse, or how do horses' hooves actually work, or it doesn't matter. By Sunday night, you could be slightly more expert in an area that matters to you. And you don't own a horse, or you haven't done brain surgery yet, but you have turned yourself into somebody slightly different. You are a different person by Sunday night. And even if you don't mean to do that, you're still going to be a slightly different person. If you spend a whole weekend eating chips and watching reruns of Star Trek, you're also going to be a slightly different person by Sunday night. So to me, the real key is give yourself a long-term goal and then deliberately change who you are by the things that you choose to do. And that's what I started doing when I was 9. I just thought, someday I want to walk in the moon. So what should I do this weekend? And what books should I read? And what courses should I take? And should I take care of my body? And what should I do next? And don't despair. Don't say, oh, it'll never happen. Or gosh, Australia doesn't have rocket ships, so therefore I shouldn't even try. All that does is determine that you never have a chance. So start turning yourself into who you're dreaming of being, little bit by bit. And even if you don't someday, implant an artificial brain into somebody, you will have moved your life in a direction that suits you. And you can celebrate the successes every single week. You know, this week, hey, I didn't do brain surgery, but this week I learned how to use an electronic scalpel. Or this weekend I learned how does the medulla oblongata actually communicate with the rest of my body. You can celebrate just becoming a more capable human being. And it's totally up to you. You are going to turn yourself into who you are going to become, whether you mean to or not. So I really recommend that you do it on purpose, because it's amazing where life can lead.